Welcome to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danica Foley Long, and with me, the Town of Baldwin's mayor, Mayor Phil Prejean, and we're going to start off with some good news. I kind of like doing the good. We'll eventually get to the bad and the ugly, but let's start off with the good.
Right.
Nice to know that you guys are out of debt, and it
Yes.
only took you about 3 years for that to happen.
Yeah, it did. It did, and that was a goal that I had when I became mayor. I hope that I have it done by four. We did it in about 2.5 years. That's the first time in I think 6 or 7 years that the general fund was free of debt, and actually we had somewhat of a surplus this year, so it'll allow us to maybe get some equipment, some new trucks in that we need.
Well, that's good. I mean, getting back in black is always
Yes,
good. I mean, and if to be in red for so long, 6 to 7 years,
Yes.
let's just be honest. Why was that? Why did we see that happen over that time period?
All I know is when I became mayor, the second week I was in office, I had to go to Baton Rouge to appear before the State Oversight Committee. We were one of on the distress list. And I had to tell them how, having just been on the job for 2 weeks, I was going to alleviate the deficit. And, I said, well, we were going to collect what was owed to the town, and we were going to tighten things up and see how it went. And it worked. It worked.
And in what areas did you have to tighten up? I mean,
Basically, it was a collection of utilities. The town was not doing a real good job of collecting its utility, what was owed to the town. And also there were numerous leaks. It was the water system had a lot of small leaks. It wasn't like the gushers, just small leaks that were somewhat unattended to. And so we have gone after those with like a hawk, and so to speak, and we fix them as soon as we see them now. And so our I guess the loss between what we buy and what we collect for is probably somewhere less than 20%, maybe closer to 15%, which is there's a general loss in water systems because of small breaks and what have you.
I mean, we see it in our homes. If we have a leak inside our house, I mean, you start to see
and
that
that was
utility
another
bill go
thing.
up.
We put in new electronic meters, which will tell you if you have a leak in your home. And unbelievably is that many people want to dispute that red light blinking says you got a leak.
Right.
And we can print it out and tell you exactly when it's leaking. And it's made a lot of, it's solved a lot of problems. We've been able to pinpoint where those problems are. And so, the bottom line picked up because we were having to put money every month into the water system.
Yeah.
And now the water system pays for itself. So we're coming up on that, and we did the same thing with the sewer. We found where we were not doing as well as we should be with the sewer, and so our collections have gone up on that now. And actually we've rehabbed all of our sewer plants to one degree or another. There's still a few that need an extra pump in them, but all of them have new pumps on them. So.
And you're speaking of leaks, and this is where it gets a little bad and ugly here. I mean, is it proper to say that there were some mismanagement of funds also in the past? I mean, it made the news too about some thefts and things of that nature too.
There was a couple of instances where there was some funds taken, and there was criminal action that was taken, and those things I don't know that they attributed to the size of the debt, but they certainly didn't help things out.
Yeah. So now that you're back in black, I mean, are you hiring? Are there any job openings? Are you ready to get more people?
Well, we're proceeding with caution on that. I would like to make sure that this is not a flash in the pan, that it happens again before we start really going out to spend money. Because
you don't want to celebrate too early.
Yeah, I just it was such a job to get out of debt. We want to be very careful about not going back into it.
That's right. And there's some different projects that are going on. I mean, we've kind of talked about this in the past. Water valve replacements. You guys were kind of also known for having some, you know, some leaks as far as like breakage, you know, in the lines, right? So this is going to help with that.
Well, what this does is,
before you get to that, we'll actually do more of an explanation on. I apologize. We're getting down to the wire, so
Okay.
we'll come back and pick up on it after
Certainly.
this commercial break.
Sure.
So come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast.
Okay.
Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Again, I am your host, Danica Foley Long, and with me we have the mayor, the town of Baldwin, Mayor Phil Prejean. And we were talking about, I kind of wanted to set it up. There were a few breaks in line, right? Break in lines, you had, you know, like the water line breaks. And that was kind of becoming a little bit of an inconvenience for some of your residents because you'd have to go down and then you'd have to cut off water to, you know, just a lot more homes. But now you have this ongoing project to do water valve replacements, which will allow you to isolate certain areas where you wouldn't have to inconvenience like a whole neighborhood.
Right, that's correct. Yeah. That's the whole idea of that is we're trying to set it up where if we have a break or a leak, we can repair it with least amount of inconvenience to the people. And so that's the goal of this project.
Yeah, okay. And that's been going on for a little while now, right? I mean,
well, we got a grant from Capital Outlay to do that, and then it takes a little bit of a time, the engineering and so on. But we hope by this fall that should be ongoing.
Great.
So
right before winter, when we have a lot more breaks that typically occur. So you guys will be right on schedule, right on time. Grants. Let's talk about grants. What are there any grants that you will be the recipient of? I mean,
right now we're pursuing grants for playground equipment for our parks. We have 2 parks in the town, and we hope to get new equipment into those parks and upgrade them.
Yeah. Where are the parks located?
Well, one's on Sharrington Road, and the other one's right across the railroad track from Martin Luther King.
Okay. Do you know the amount of the grant and what?
No, I don't know. It's a scoping grant right now.
Okay.
In other words, we're in the scoping process.
Okay, because you're right. With everything, there's a scope, so we don't know exactly when it's going to take place.
Exactly. It's one of those. The other night, like we had to have a public hearing.
Yeah.
Before we made the application.
Right.
Then we had to have a resolution for the application. So these federal projects can get kind of involved.
Oh, there's a lot of red tape and.
But anyway, we're going to pursue that.
Good.
That's
good.
Going.
I'm all about the kids. All about the kids getting what they need to have a productive childhood. Right. And so in this COVID world, it's so hard for these kids to be able to mingle and to socialize, and they're not the kids we used to be. You know, like they don't want to be outside. But I mean, if you give them maybe a little incentive, give them some new playground equipment, that definitely will help.
We're also pursuing an application to the old Baldwin School, right on Main Street, to rehab it. So, we're trying to get a federal grant to rehab that and put it back in use.
Give me some more. What does that mean? What is that? Like that's
well,
great
the
news.
The overall expectation of it would be to move the town hall, the business part of it into there, and the post office into it.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll be able to get a federal grant to do that. And there is one. It's a brownfield, believe it or not. And
that's right.
The brownfield, the contamination, it's got asbestos tiles on the floor.
Yeah.
And that's easily remedied. So.
It is. And with the brownfield, you get that through the South Louisiana. It's a council.
Planning district.
Planning. That's it.
Correct.
That's it. Right.
That's who's doing it for us.
Yes. And look, they offer up the money. You ain't got to worry about it. That's great. And especially with it being such an old building.
Right.
And I think more of. And I don't know what they're doing, but I think more of our municipalities, we need to start utilizing those type of grants because we have a lot of old buildings.
We do.
And we want to put them back in use.
That's correct. And so it's just sitting there right now. The building is pretty much sound, and it would be relatively easy to repurpose. So that's our goal, to try to do that.
And I'm sure you're kind of thinking ahead. So you guys take over that building. What happens to your current town council hall?
Well, we probably will let the police department go in to take the whole building at that point.
Okay, I love it. This is what I'm talking about. This is the stuff I live for. I want the stuff that hasn't been broken yet, that the folks will know about. So I think
Yeah.
that's great news
Yes.
and it's obviously it's in the future. It's not something that you guys are doing right now, but it's something that you're planning to work on.
Right.
And by acquiring this federal grant, we'll take another break, but we will be right back. Come on, right back here to KWBJ TV 22 for the Voice of the Coast. All right. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. My guest for today is Mayor Phil Prejean with the Town of Baldwin. And just as I've asked just about everybody that has come here, everybody, doesn't matter what field you're in, what has been the greatest impact of COVID on the Town of Baldwin?
Well, the greatest impact of COVID for us has been our inability to rent our community center. And basically the rental is what has been, supports that facility, and it really, so without that, the town has to put money into it. It's whether you use it or not.
That's right. Yeah.
The electricity runs and the insurance runs and all that stuff. So, because of the COVID restrictions, at one time everything was shut down, and then now we're back with the mask restrictions, and they present problems about how do you manage that with a group of people, particularly in a social setting. A business setting is a whole lot different, but a social setting, it's different. So at this point, we're not renting it for basically at all, but but it is being used right now. It's being used as a evacuation center.
Oh, okay.
For people from Terrebonne Parish.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that in a little
Sure.
bit. I want to go back to just the rentals and just having to shut that down. Was it a problem enforcing the masks, or?
Well, you get into social setting, and people, let's say if there's some drinking going on, it's a wedding or whatever, people having a good time. Who's going to want to yank somebody out if you don't have a mask on? I mean, you don't want to have a disruption in that kind of festivity. And so we found it just be much easier just to leave this alone until such time as we can let people be themselves, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so it was a management problem. Secondly, is that when you group people up with COVID as it is, it presents a
It's a
challenge.
super spreader. At least that's what they say.
It could be a spreader event,
yeah.
And so we've been fortunate. Our employees have not contracted. We have not lost any lost time because of COVID. And so, I'd like to keep it that way. And so, it was our choice, I guess, so to speak, but it's worked out for us.
So now let's talk about it being utilized as a shelter.
Yes.
And we're talking about COVID, right?
Yes.
I mean, so how many people are we talking about?
Well, there's 25 people, as I understand, in there right now, because Sept is actually the one responsible for the center, and we pretty much just let them have it to do what they do. I understand that everyone that's in there was tested for COVID before they went there, and that I think every 3-day interval they will be checked again for COVID.
Now, if you're watching this right now, we are still in hurricane, season, and we're going to be in hurricane season for quite a while now, depending on when you're watching this. So right now, as we are taping this video, this interview, we have Nicholas out there.
Yes.
So we already have the shelter full of evacuees from places like Terrebonne. We have Nicholas that's going to bring about, it's going to be more of a rain event than it was a wind event with Ida. Is your town going to be able to sustain the rain that's expected to come?
I think so. We have pumps in the right places. Right now we move portable pumps in anticipation of it. So we are not going to let the water build up. We'll start draining it as soon as we can collect it. As soon as the pumps can pick up anything, it's going to pump it out. So we're not going to wait till it accumulates, so to speak, before we.
Now you say you brought in pumps. So that was from the state?
No, it's ours. We
Your
own a
own.
pump.
Oh,
We own a
okay.
pump.
So areas that are really considered low lying, like Shoe Pick, they're going to be okay?
That's what that's where that pump is. That's what we got it for. It's for that. The way that drainage is set up with the levee, it all comes to a certain area, and that's where the pump is. The drainage comes to. So
And also let's just so I'm clear with that area. So it's there's a gate back there. Do they open and close it? And
There's two of them
there's
back
two,
there.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we open and close. If the shoe pick is down, then we open it up and let everything drain down.
Right,
But
okay.
generally, if it's raining, the shoe pick is full, so
Yeah.
we have to close it off, and we pump over the levee into
Gotcha.
the shoe pick.
Okay, sounds good. All right, just needed a clarification there. So we're gonna take another break, but come on back right here on the Voice of the Coast. We have much more to cover. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danica Foley Long, and with me we have Mayor Phil Prejean with the Town of Baldwin. We kind of talked a little bit about Ida, post-Ida. Did you guys experience any power outages?
No, we were very fortunate. We didn't have any power outages, didn't have any trees go down, or any significant limbs go down.
Okay. So pretty much it was an east end. We got a little bit of that wind, but we were, I will say overall St. Mary Parish fared well, especially considering our friends and neighbors to the
I think,
to
the
the east of
devastation in
us.
Terrebonne and the Lafourche parishes are really
Yeah.
astronomical, and it's quite scary to see it.
Yeah. So let's shift gears here and let's talk a little bit about economic development. I
Okay.
do it with everybody also. I'm a real estate watcher. I like to look at properties and see all the beautiful homes and look at the architecture and just the character of homes. Baldwin has some beautiful homes that are on just lush land and God's country, right? Beautiful homes, and the homes are priced $300,000 and up. But where's the economic development? Where is the influx of people to buy these homes? Who's buying these homes? These beautiful homes.
Well, we, of course, that's from what the census tells us. The preliminary thing is that we probably lost about 100 people since the last one. So we were at around 2,400. Now we're around 2,300 people, and but it seems like each time somebody moves out of town, somebody buys a house. So we don't have many surplus homes on the market.
Yeah.
And that is one of your problems with economic development, is that when someone wants to come in and locate where the people are going to live, and if you don't have surplus housing, then you have a lead time to try to build up to do that. And so generally those time lags take you out of the market, or take you out of the contention for things like that.
So you're saying a lack of housing, right? But there's lots of land. Are the people just not? I don't know. I'm just trying to.
Well, I guess then too, you got the problem in the economic conditions that we're in South Louisiana. I think investors would be very reluctant to start building subdivisions and build it and they will come type thing. You know what I'm talking about? And so I think those things are all hampering us. I think it's just a general melees of having gone through the depression in the oil industry. And so we have not regrouped as a community, as a parish, or as a region.
Yeah.
Of what we're going to do collectively
Yeah,
about losing the oil industry, because it had been so ingrained here.
Oh, it is
so
so
long.
ingrained, and
So, the losses have, and it didn't happen all overnight.
Come on, you
just trickled
better
out.
say it that it didn't happen overnight. So we should have had, and maybe I'm getting a little overzealous here, but I just feel like we should have been thinking ahead.
Yeah. Right.
Before we got to this point.
Yeah, but I guess you always like to go to your comfort zone, and the oil industry was the comfort zone, and so it's not there now. And like I said, as a community, parish, area, state, we have not came to some type of agreement or some type of a focus on what we're going to do to replace that industry. And and it's hard because it was so ingrained. You're talking about every family had somebody that was involved in the oil industry.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yes.
there was no family that didn't
That
have
was the
somebody.
lifestyle. That was the lifestyle. I know when I moved here, you would find mothers, women who were stay-at-home mothers because their husbands worked offshore,
Right.
and
Right.
that was just the lifestyle.
And they were good, and they were
yeah.
good paying
Good
jobs.
paying jobs, yeah,
They were good
definitely.
paying jobs at retirement with them, and like I said, it was a great comfort zone, and so that is gone now. And it's our skilled workers have relocated other places, and
So we got to bring
I
them
mean,
back.
you can see
That's
that
the
once in a
thing.
while the oil industry will spurt back up for a little bit, and they have a hard time finding personnel.
Yeah. Well, I know talking to Economic Development Director Evan, he's been here before, and there is a possibility of having a renewable energy, firm come a company. So we'll see if we can get some of those people to go down there to Baldwin.
Hopefully,
So,
hopefully, so we welcome them.
but thank you very much, Mayor Prejean. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys next time.